On Beyond the Gates, the Duprees are trying to keep Leslie from getting a foothold in Fairmont Crest. On their side are Vanessa McBride and Bill Hamilton, and, surprisingly, Ted Richardson. Since the revelation that Leslie is the long-lost daughter of Barbara Mitchell, the fourth and original articulate, Leslie has been finding ways to use her newfound wealth to exact revenge against the Duprees. Her first aim was to purchase real estate within the vaunted gates of Fairmont Crest, but not just any property, the one owned by friends of Anita and Vernon. This property is located directly across the street. Anita and Vernon, for all their wealth and influence, could not stop this sale from happening. But luckily for them, Vanessa was on it. Vanessa managed to get the Jarvises to insert a clause into the sale agreement, stating that they would remain living in the property until they had found another to move into, with a 90-day time frame. So for at least the next 3 months, the Duprees could count on Leslie not being across the street and seeing the house painted a lovely magenta color as per Leslie's wishes. That also gives Vanessa some time to find a clause or piece of legal terminology to use in an attempt to cancel the entire sale. Behind the scenes, Vanessa will be working hard to find a way to get Leslie out of the neighborhood, but doing what he does best, Bill Hamilton has his own plan. Bill, the fixer, Hamilton turned up at Leslie's place, much like he did all those years ago when he ran her out of town. And to be honest, it was great to see Big Bad Bill at it again. It's one of the things we love about his character. Bill rapped on Leslie's door, and she was shocked to see him there, before telling him that she had money and that money was power. Bill wasn't put off, and let Leslie know in no uncertain terms that he was more than miffed about having to deal with her instead of devoting all his time and energy to finding his missing daughter. Bill went further and told Leslie she needed to make herself gone, or he would find a way to make that happen permanently. And if she had any doubts, all she needed to do was remember what happened last time and how far Bill would go to carry out his client's wishes. Not wanting to miss out on an opportunity to impress Nicole, Ted plans to approach Leslie with a proposal to try to prevent her from buying the property across the road from Anita and Vernon. Desperate, Eva approached her dad at the country club and told him of Leslie's plans, explaining that he was the only one she would listen to, as she wanted nothing more than his approval. Ted agreed that it had merit and could also be something that would make Nicole happy, showing that he still cared for her and her family. With this three-pronged approach, can they really keep Fairmont Crest's WMD from getting her toes in the water and laying claim to Fairmont? Stay tuned, soap fans. Friday is almost upon us, and Allison has some insane demands for Chelsea, while Ted has an intriguing proposal for Leslie. Hey, babes! Welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up because we're diving straight into the drama. DVR alert. The airing of Beyond the Gates will be disrupted from Monday, September 1st to Friday, September 5th, this coming week. Although no reasons have been given at this stage as to why the reruns are screening, the show will return. New episodes of the soap will return on Monday, September 8th. It's not often that viewers of soap operas get a repeat, but this week is an exception. If you are worried you're going to miss out on Beyond the Gates, we feel ya. However, don't worry, the show will resume on Monday, 8th September, where it left off on Friday, 29th August. Until then, be on the lookout for significant fallout from the fireworks at Nicole's and Ted's anniversary party, when Leslie lit off a series of explosive revelations. What her reveals will do to the Richardson and Dupree families has yet to be seen, twice LOL. Relive the drama and all the soapiness as one of the biggest revelations rocks Fairmont Crest. Beyond the Gates can be viewed weekdays on CBS and streamed live and on demand on Paramount Plus, when it returns to its regular scheduling on Monday, September 8th. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday, August 29th. Note that Ted Richardson might be dubbed the new fixer in Fairmont Crest, while Allison continues to spiral, and Eva Tomas leans on Tomas Navarro. During the Thursday, August 28th episode, Eva desperately tried to get through to Leslie Thomas about not buying a mansion in Fairmont Crest. She's also worried about her mom, blowing through her inheritance. Could Eva seek a shoulder to cry on from Tomas during the August 29th show? These two continue to get closer, as Tomas and his girlfriend, Catherine "Cat" Richardson, grow apart. Speaking of Leslie and her house purchase, Eva also asked Ted for some help in convincing her mom against buying the mansion. The Duprees, including Nicole Richardson, are reeling over the disappearance of Chelsea Hamilton, so Leslie taunting them from across the road is the last thing they need. Ted's been desperate to delay his divorce from Nicole, so when Eva approached him for assistance, he was quick to realize he may win some favor with Nicole if he's able to nip Leslie's mansion plan in the bud. BTG spoilers imply that Ted will propose something to Leslie, so can he convince her to nix her plans to move beyond the gates? And if so, what will he promise her in return for doing so? Move over, Bill Hamilton. And Nicole, see, there may be a new fixer in town if Ted's scheme succeeds. Speaking of Chelsea, Allison will make an insane demand on her during the August 29th episode. Allison's actions this week show a very mentally unstable woman, so what more can she do to cross the line? Things look very dire for Chelsea right now, so it sounds as if Allison could place the social media influencer and purse designer in a fatal situation. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest that Jacob Hawthorne and Kat are very close to finding Chelsea, so here's hoping they can locate that cabin before it's too late. What does Allison want from Chelsea now? The Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday, August 29th, 2025, tease tensions and high drama. We found out Allison is holding Chelsea hostage. Now, she has another insane request that'll have us scratching our heads. Unsurprisingly, we found out that Chelsea's ex, Allison, is the one who kidnapped her. BTG fans already had an idea since she became obsessed and possessive over her. Allison wants to move Chelsea away from the scene of the crime before someone finds them. On Friday's episode, she'll make a wild request that will have us screaming at the television. Wait until you see what Allison is going to get Chelsea to do next. Meanwhile, Leslie will receive an intriguing proposal from Ted. Is this the unexpected duo that's about to walk down the aisle? Now this would be a twist that no one expected. However, Ted might not be in a hurry to marry again so soon after his divorce. Whatever Ted has on his mind, it'll surprise Leslie. Tomas will offer to help Eva. It sounds like these two are growing closer together. What are your thoughts on Tomas and Eva? Who do you like him with the most, Eva or Kat? Let us know in the comments section. Nicole will have an upsetting update for her son. Martin has already been through enough in the past few months alone. How much more bad news does this man need? Whatever it is, he's not going to like the news that his mom shares with him. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Thursday, August 28th. Hint that an unexpected wedding will take place, while Vanessa McBride drops a bombshell on the Dupree family. Maybe her big news is about a quickie wedding to Joey Armstrong. BTG spoilers do suggest that the wedding that takes place will be completely unexpected, and there weren't really any hints of two people saying their I do's during the Wednesday, August 27th episode, so it could be anyone at this point. Here's hoping it's not an eerie ploy that Allison pulls on Chelsea Hamilton, who is currently the crazy woman's hostage. Allison has done some uber-creepy things to Chelsea this week, who's chained to a bed in a cabin unknown, so a weird wedding could be in the cards. The only silver lining is that Jacob Hawthorne will follow up on a lead during Thursday's episode, and thanks to the deal Martin Richardson secured with Joey during the August 27th episode, it looks like Jacob may zero in on Chelsea's whereabouts sooner rather than later. Back to Vanessa, she'll update the Dupree family on something important. So does this have to do with Leslie Thomas moving in across the road, or something else? Finally, Derek Baldwin opens up to Ashley Morgan. Derek still loves Ashley, and Ashley still cares for Derek. So are these two heading toward a romantic reunion? Ashley feels awful about his accident, so there's a good chance she may get back together with him out of pure guilt. In fact, she may do far more than just reunite. She may get suckered into marrying him. Beyond the Gates spoilers remind fans that Derek has been wanting to marry Ashley for a hot minute. So could these two be the unexpected couple that gets hitched? Anything is possible in the land of Fairmont Crest. Here's what went down Thursday, August 28th, 2025, on Beyond the Gates. When Ted once again wussed out on winning back Nicole, Leslie had to stall U-Haul, and Derek couldn't take direction. On Beyond the Gates, Shanice asked the arriving Madison if she had an update on Chelsea. Madison didn't. Shanice was surprised that Madison had come to work at the hospital, but Madison said she needed to help patients to keep herself sane. Madison checked on Derek and felt he was making progress, but Derek wanted to advance faster. Ashley promised Madison that she'd make sure Derek didn't set himself back by pushing himself too much. However, when Shanice put Derek through a physical therapy exercise, he was determined to do more reps than she recommended. Once Shanice left, Derek was still raring to go, saying that Ashley had always made him want to be his best self. Ashley reminded Derek that Shanice had instructed him to stop, but Derek scoffed, "I can rest when I'm dead." Though Ashley realized it went against Derek's nature to let himself breathe, Derek was sure Ashley was thinking he had paralyzed himself because he hadn't exercised caution at the triathlon. Ashley refuted Derek's assumption, but Derek felt they were only dancing around the likelihood that he would never walk again, no matter how much physical therapy he did. Ashley passed along that mobility-impaired people often led full lives. Yet Derek had felt a purpose when he'd been able to help people as a firefighter. He didn't know what he was supposed to do with himself otherwise. Ashley promised to remind him that he was still extraordinary, even if he didn't end up regaining the full use of his legs. Madison told Shanice there was still no news and marveled at how the Duprees had been so welcoming to her ever since she had started dating Chelsea. Shanice comforted Madison as she shared her dreams for the future with Chelsea, moving in, maybe even getting married. But Madison couldn't hold back her tears at the thought that she might never see her girlfriend again. Andre sat with Ted at the country club, asking his uncle if he had spoken to his aunt. Ted hadn't since Nicole had filed for divorce. He concluded that he'd better say something if he had any hope of saving his marriage. Ted squared his eyes when Leslie and Eva walked in. Leslie made a beeline for Vanessa and hoped that the offer to buy the residence across from the Duprees had been finalized. Vanessa winced as Leslie envisioned painting the mansion magenta, and Eva thought such a brash move would piss off the Duprees. Vanessa informed Leslie that she wasn't moving in that day. The present owners reserved their right to stay 90 days until they found another place to live. Eva figured that Leslie could just stay at her apartment, but Leslie, staring at Ted, was anxious. She wanted to stake her claim on Fairmont Crest. When Vanessa suggested that Leslie check out other, newer gated communities, Leslie uttered, "Well, aren't you a precious little Barbie?" Eva didn't want Leslie burning through her money, but Leslie chirped that she'd have money coming in every 6 months from investments and whatever. Vanessa watched as Eva attempted to convince Leslie that she might be happier living in a neighborhood where people didn't hate her. Perhaps Leslie might make friends. When Leslie mentioned Jan and Mona, Eva said she meant friends who still wanted to talk to her. Leslie pointed to Ted after Eva challenged her to name one thing Fairmont Crest had that she couldn't find elsewhere. Ted listened as Andre explained how he'd been wrong to insist that Ted go after Nicole. He attributed his shift in perspective to his recent letdown with Ashley and told Ted that, before Chelsea had gone missing, he and Danny had been considering venturing into more romantic territory beyond their previous friends with benefits situation. Ted wondered if both Andre and Ashley's reunions with their exes had been born out of crises and examined whether something similar could happen with him and Nicole. Danny had spent the night at her parents' place. She didn't want to sleep or eat until Chelsea was home. Danny fretted that statistics said the odds of a kidnap victim returning safely lessened the more time passed. Vernon announced that his FBI contact had gone nationwide in the search. Danny was surprised that 95% of the tips that had come in so far were false leads. Just then, Naomi ran in and reported that Jacob might have broken the case. While Naomi caught the family up on Jacob's discovery, Bill assured Danny that Chelsea was just as indestructible as she was. The doorbell rang, and Nicole was approached by a process server. The about-to-be divorcee was annoyed to read that Ted was trying to stall the dissolution of their marriage by requesting an audit of their finances. The family was none too pleased to learn that Bill was representing Ted. Bill corrected that one of his partners was working on Ted's behalf, but Nicole yelled that it was Bill's name on the door. Danny, Vernon, and Nicole all took Bill to task. He reasoned that it was better for him to handle the Richardson divorce rather than a stranger who might leak details to gossip outlets. The Duprees balked when Bill relayed that Ted had only moved to delay the proceedings because Ted still loved Nicole. Mrs. Richardson reminded Bill that she had meant it when she had replaced him as the family fixer. Vernon diplomatically counseled his squabbling clan not to act out of the raw emotions they were all feeling because of Chelsea's disappearance. Leslie privately griped to Eva that she didn't want to stare at her apartment's cruddy popcorn ceiling for another 3 months. Eva suggested Leslie indulge in retail therapy as a salve. Leslie lamented that she couldn't give Mona and Jan guest passes to the club so they could play pickleball with her there. After Leslie sashayed past Ted, he shook his head and received a text from Bill, who warned him to stay away from the Duprees, since Nicole and her family were on the warpath about his stall tactic. Eva visited Ted at the bar and offered her condolences about Chelsea's disappearance, intuiting that Kat must be going through hell. Ted didn't know from the source because Kat hadn't returned any of his texts or voicemails. He figured she was with the Duprees and alluded to keeping his distance. Eva hated the timing, but she wanted Ted's help in preventing Leslie from moving into the gated community, feeling that Ted had more influence over her mother than anyone. Ted wasn't unaware that Nicole would be grateful if he could stop Leslie from being her neighbor. At her apartment, Leslie was practicing with her new pickleball racket when there was a knock on the door. It was Bill. Leslie held her racket in a protective stance as Bill warned her to stay away from the Duprees forever, because nobody wanted her living in Fairmont Crest. "Well, that's just too damn bad," Leslie spat, relishing the power her money gave her. Bill was sure Leslie remembered how far he was willing to go in service to his clients, and grumbled that he'd had to take time out of looking for his daughter to deal with her. If Leslie didn't back off, he would make sure she did. Permanently. Vanessa buoyed the Duprees by telling them she had arranged with the owners of the house across the street to add a clause to their contract that kept them from vacating the property for 90 days. Danny and Bill were each impressed at Vanessa's maneuvering, but Danny suspected there had to be another loophole that could keep Leslie out for even longer, and she expected Bill to find it, since he owed it to Nicole for legally siding with Ted in her divorce. Andre came at the mansion to see Danny, who stopped him from addressing their influx relationship parameters. Danny was glad that Andre vowed to be there for her while Chelsea was missing, though she affirmed that she had her whole family behind her. Andre couldn't disagree when Danny described Chelsea as her mini-me and called the two of them the Duprees, who couldn't color within the lines. While praising how good Madison was for Chelsea, Danny began to break down at the idea of Allison turning Chelsea into a victim, falling into Andre's arms, sobbing. Jacob checked on Kat at the guest house. She was busying herself cleaning up after the officers who had dusted her home for Prince and was critical of the mess they had made. Kat hadn't slept and had spent most of her night waiting to hear Chelsea's key in the lock. Jacob shared that he had discovered a trail of online purchases Allison had made, which had been shipped to a different address than was listed on her ID. The detective suspected that was where Chelsea was being held. He didn't want Kat following along, but Kat begged him to let her accompany him, certain that her cousin would need her. Jacob agreed reluctantly. Once they returned, Jacob was frustrated that there had been nothing out of the ordinary to be had at Allison's place, but Kat showed Jacob a key to a storage locker that she had swiped from the premises. As the cousins-in-law headed to the facility, the Duprees joined hands in prayer and asked for Chelsea's safe return. Scanning through a thumb drive found in Allison's locker, Jacob and Kat came across a journal in which Allison had tracked Chelsea's movements. Kat was shocked that Allison had been stalking her cousin for years and posited that kidnapping Chelsea had been Allison's long game. Chelsea awoke to a feather gently tickling her. Allison had donned a wedding dress, though Chelsea grumbled that she wouldn't feel better until Allison was locked up. Allison proposed to her. When Chelsea refused to marry her captor, Allison mused that she would find a way to make Chelsea cooperate. Chelsea thought she had an out when she noted that Allison was already married to Craig, but Allison nonchalantly mentioned that Craig was only an escort she'd hired. Chelsea was stunned. Allison confessed that she had used Craig to lure Chelsea because, at the time, it had seemed like Chelsea was into men. Chelsea realized that Allison had set her up from the beginning, but wondered why then. Allison had pushed her away. Allison grinned that she had been playing hard to get, like Chelsea had advised doing in one of her videos. Chelsea grunted that the advice had only been lyrics to a random song she had been dancing to. After Chelsea spurned Allison again, Allison threatened to get Madison out of the way for good, unless Chelsea said, "I do." Chelsea replied that she needed to think about it, while Allison was confident there would be a wedding that day. Chelsea led the conversation to Allison having to unchain her if they wanted to go in front of a justice of the peace. Allison beamed that she could perform the ceremony herself, as she had become ordained. After Chelsea objected that it wouldn't be legally binding, and Allison responded that they only needed God as their witness, Chelsea said to herself that she could use some divine intervention. Having heard the crack, Allison produced a butcher knife, so Chelsea agreed to marry her. "You don't want to marry someone looking all busted," Chelsea reckoned, holding up her shackled hands to show it wasn't possible for her to fix herself up. Allison smeared lipstick on Chelsea's lips and set a veil in Chelsea's hair before queuing up the wedding march on her phone. Chelsea sat stiffly as Allison began the ceremony and read her vows, articulating that she loved Chelsea so much that she'd forget that doctor. "Her name is Madison," Chelsea rectified, rigid. Allison breezed past the correction and wrapped up, excited to hear Chelsea's pledges. "It's hard to put into words what I feel for you," Chelsea stated, not dishonestly. Chelsea added that Allison was unlike anyone she'd ever met, and vowed to treat her as well as Allison treated her. The under-duress bride promised to be a good partner and to do her best to keep Allison calm. She would bring the values she was raised with into their marriage. A tear streamed down the happy Allison's face as Chelsea swore, through gritted teeth, to be the wife Allison deserved. BTG spoiler alert. Here are your Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of Monday, August 25th to Friday, August 29th, 2025. Be sure to tune in to CBS every weekday to see how everything plays out in Fairmont Crest. The Duprees are frantic when the Cailloux discover one of their own has gone missing. Meanwhile, Samantha and Martin have some father-daughter bonding time. The hostage situation intensifies. Anita, Vernon, and Kat take matters into their own hands. Andre spies a close moment between Danny and Bill. Martin makes a deal with the devil. Leslie ruffles some feathers. Naomi leans on her husband. Madison issues an apology. Vanessa has news to share with the Duprees. Jacob and Kat follow a promising lead. Derek opens up to Ashley. An unlikely duo exchange wedding vows. The kidnapper has another insane demand for their hostage. Ted surprises Leslie with an intriguing proposal, while Tomas offers to help Eva. Leslie Thomas just hit the genetic lottery on Beyond the Gates, and she's officially moving to Fairmont Crest to take back what she believes is rightfully hers. Now that we know Leslie is the daughter of the missing fourth articulate, is there still another Barbara bomb coming? Here's what's coming up next on BTG, spoilers down below. Beyond the Gates articulates are making a huge comeback, and that means their royalty checks are rolling in again. Recently on the CBS soap, we learned that there was a fourth member of Anita Dupree's singing group named Barbara. It's still unclear what happened to Barbara, but it has been implied that she committed suicide before the group took off. That means she is still entitled to royalties on her songs. Since Barbara is gone, that means her daughter is entitled to her articulate check, and Leslie Thomas is now rolling in cash. Beyond the Gates, spoilers say that Leslie is going to move into her own mansion in Fairmont Crest, thanks to her new inheritance. But that's not all. The Articulates' contracts are ironclad, and it looks like Leslie now has creative control over her mother's music. Soap spoilers say Anita Dupree is going to regret bringing the Articulates back, because now she is going to have to work with Barbara's long-lost daughter, Leslie Thomas. The two women already have bad blood between them, and now Leslie is certain that Anita had something to do with her mother's death. But what if Barbara isn't dead? Beyond the Gates is a brand new soap opera, and that means the writers have free range on storylines and can rewrite history as they go. Rumor has it, Leslie and Anita are in for a huge shock, and the woman they are arguing over could still be alive and pop up. Beyond the Gates, spoilers for Friday, August 29th, suggest some major drama as the weekend hits. Chelsea Hamilton's kidnapper, Allison, will have some demands, while Ted Richardson is about to make a proposal. Plus, Thomas Navarro will help Eva Thomas. Learn more about what's set to unravel on the CBS soap below. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday, August 29th state that Allison will make an insane demand. She's been pretty cray-cray so far, and obviously kidnapping Chelsea in the first place shows how unhinged she is. However, considering how far she's crossed the line this week, what will she do next? Here's hoping Jacob Hawthorne can find Chelsea soon. In related news, Nicole Richardson will share something that may trigger Martin Richardson. Does it involve Chelsea? Martin went out on a limb and struck a deal with Joey Armstrong to get information about Allison to save his cousin. Will this all backfire on him? Across town, Ted is about to present a proposal to Leslie Thomas. What could this be about? Surely, he isn't about to propose to his ex-mistress, right? Then again, maybe he's hoping he can do something to ensure she backs off the Duprees during this time, as Leslie has become a nuisance during the family's trying time of attempting to locate Chelsea and bring her back home. Finally, Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday reveal that Eva will need some assistance, and Tomas will be by her side. This is very interesting, since Catherine "Cat" Richardson is reeling with her BFF and cousin going missing. Will Eva need legal help? She's bound and determined to help her mom with the inheritance she just got, and Eva may hope that Tomas can think of a legal way she can stop her mom from getting all that money at once. After all, if she does, Leslie's bound to spend it all in one shot. What storyline are you most looking forward to during Friday's show? Share your thoughts. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily and check out CTS often for the best Beyond the Gates updates, spoilers, and news. Leslie's inheritance could cause issues between her and Eva. Eva has a complicated relationship with her mother Leslie on Beyond the Gates, but the two have grown closer now that Leslie's come into money. However, Leslie's windfall could shatter her and Eva's relationship for good. Leslie was shocked when she learned that former Articulates member Barbara is her mother. She was in for another surprise upon discovering that as Barbara's heir, she's entitled to her inheritance. Leslie's new wealth has her and Eva celebrating. However, it's not a happy occasion for the Duprees. When Anita set up a trust for Barbara's family, she didn't expect Leslie to be her daughter. Leslie and Eva have caused issues for the Duprees and now score another win in their feud. Or have they? A fan theory on Reddit suggests that Leslie and Eva's relationship will be tested by the inheritance. Since the trust was set up for Barbara's descendants, Eva might be entitled to half since she's Barbara's granddaughter. Eva will be tempted to stake her claim. However, Leslie will be unhappy about sharing her newfound wealth. Fans then suggested that the fight over Barbara's money could lead to the revelation that Eva isn't Leslie's daughter. There's been much speculation that Leslie stole Eva, and the young woman is Ted and Nicole's daughter. The inheritance storyline could finally shed some clues about Eva's real parentage. Eva has always forgiven her mama for her wrongdoings, but learning that Leslie kidnapped her and lied to her might have Eva reach her breaking point. Leslie's new fortune might bring her a luxurious lifestyle, but it will be her downfall when and if her crimes are exposed. Rania Rose Mantilla absolutely delivered this week, and then some. Her emotionally raw, captivating, and layered portrayal of Chelsea Hamilton on Beyond the Gates has rightfully earned her the title of Soap Opera News' Performer of the Week. Though a newer face to daytime, Mantilla proved that she understood the assignment and executed it with unmatched intensity and grace. This week, just as Chelsea was preparing to launch her much-anticipated purse line with her cousin and best friend, Cat Richardson, things took a shocking turn. Chelsea was suddenly and violently kidnapped, and the culprit was none other than the unhinged, obsessive Allison, who proved herself to be truly unstable. Chelsea awoke chained to a bed, dressed in black leather, confused, terrified, and desperate to escape. From the very first moment, Mantilla pulled viewers into Chelsea's nightmare. She portrayed every beat of fear, disbelief, and psychological torment with total conviction. As Chelsea struggled to understand her situation, flashes of moments with her family played in her mind. Meanwhile, Allison made it very clear that she had disturbing plans for Chelsea's future, And freedom was not one of them. Mantilla's performance was a masterclass in emotional storytelling. The anguish, the frustration, the desperation, it was all there. And it was all real. Her expressive range, from physical resistance to heartbreaking pleas, was mesmerizing to watch. She didn't just act the scene, she lived it. It's rare for a newcomer to command the screen with such force, but Mantilla has proven she's a natural fit for the soap genre. She's a star on the rise, and if this week is any indication, we're only scratching the surface of what she's capable of. Congratulations to Ronnie Rose Mantilla on being crowned Performer of the Week. A well-deserved honor. Keep rising, Queen. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.